two questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside of the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title?
You know, it has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money.
Kind of like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation, because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might around and beat Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao's shocking return to the ring against Mario Barrios has the boxing world buzzing. Promoter Eddie Hearn acknowledged Pacquiao's legendary skill, saying he's still capable of beating fighters in the top 20. However, Hearn also voiced concern over Pacquiao's inactivity and age, warning that the 45-year-old icon may not perform at the elite level he once did. Fans are split, with some excited to see the legend back and others worried about his health and legacy. Barrios, a younger and active contender, presents a serious test.
It's a very contentious subject, like, you know, people moaning about Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that he's been inactive for quite a long time. Like, we were talking about fighting him with Conor Benn maybe 6 months ago or a year, and every month or 3 months or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, you know, I guess there's two questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside of the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title? I guess that's another question. In the commercial world of boxing, the answer is yeah, probably. In the ratings world and activity world, the answer is probably not.
Do you think it's strange that he's coming off the couch and getting a title fight like that?
I think when you've achieved what he's achieved, you've always got the right to do things a little bit differently to others. And with all due respect, Barrios is not Boots, and Barrios is not Crawford. You know, and that's why, you know, we pushed the Conor Benn fight. Conor Benn, like, his best win is against Algieri or Van Heerden. So actually Pacquiao is a step up. You know, and people were still complaining at me for mentioning that fight, like Conor Benn is Boots, you know, but he still hasn't had those wins yet.
Manny Pacquiao's return to boxing has stunned fans worldwide. After officially retiring in 2021, following a loss to Yordenis Ugas, the 46-year-old legend is set to challenge Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title this July. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman confirmed the bout, highlighting Pacquiao's enduring legacy and his desire to retire as a champion. Despite concerns about his age and recent inactivity, Pacquiao remains confident, aiming to make history once more in the ring.
In a world title fight against the WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. Date yet to be confirmed, venue yet to be confirmed, but it looks like it will be in July and in Las Vegas. Yeah, massive news announced yesterday by the WBC president, and you know, it was so out of left field. You know, Pacquiao hasn't fought professionally since 2021. That was 4 years ago. He was 41 at the time, and of course he lost to Yordenis Ugas, the very, very tricky Cuban fighter. Convincingly lost to Yordenis Ugas. And
trainer Greg Hackett didn't hold back when giving his take on Manny Pacquiao's shocking return against Mario Barrios. Hackett, speaking candidly, said that if this fight had happened several years ago, Pacquiao would have easily handled Barrios. But now, the situation is different. Hackett emphasized that this version of Pacquiao is far removed from the explosive fighter. Fans remember. At 45, the Filipino legend isn't expected to have the same speed, endurance, or killer instinct. Hackett called this bout a money fight, and not a competitive clash between two peak athletes. It's more of a spectacle, he insists.
Sound like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation, because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might around and beat Pacquiao up. I mean, not knock him out, but, you know what I mean, beat him on the cards, beat him behind that jab.
Similar to like the Ugas fight?
Yeah, like on. Yeah. It's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back, and he want to come back with a bang, so, I mean, why not? If he can make it happen, make it happen. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fighter, I would love to have a Pacquiao on the record. I mean, I would love something like this. And that's a fight you got to get ready for.
It's a fight that boxing fans are going to criticize you for.
Yeah.
But the reality is Manny Pacquiao has a diehard fan base that you're going to make money with that fight.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to see other fights at 47. You Stanionis, you Boots, you Brian Norman.
Yeah, but he want to steal as much as he can steal. You know what I mean? Because again, this shit is not forever. Just like anything else, it's going to end. So you want to make some money and you want to do great things, but not so great where I get in there with a guy that'll kill me right now. You know what I'm saying? So all right, I'll fight Pacquiao. He damn near 50 years old. I'll fight him. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So these dudes different anyway. They different. If I was Barrios, I wouldn't entertain Pacquiao. I'd be on that hunt for the rest of them straps.
Former champion Tim Bradley echoed similar concerns, suggesting that the fight is more about financial motives than boxing glory. According to Bradley, anytime a fighter comes out of retirement, it signals a need for a payday. In his view, the WBC title may be on the line, but the real motivation is the purse. Barrios, a younger and active contender, is being positioned as the fresh face to test Pacquiao's limits. Bradley went as far as to say that Barrios has the youth, momentum, and skill to possibly finish Pacquiao, raising questions about whether the legend should be in the ring at all.
Getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, you know, it has to be pertaining to any kind of money. You know, it has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money. One, two. I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring, man, against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, you know, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, you know, bigger fighter, knows how to, you know, control distance very well, can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, you know, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quits. You know, that Ugas fight, I don't know if it was enough for Pacquiao. That's why he's coming back. But Barrios, he can he can finish Pacquiao. There's a possibility that he can finish Pacquiao and basically cause him to go back into retirement once again. But again, what they say, the last thing that leaves is the power. If Manny got any of that power still left in him, if he lands that left hand, he can hurt the young gun. So, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, I actually think he can beat Barrios.
In contrast to the skepticism, Mario Barrios remains calm and confident. Speaking ahead of the fight, Barrios made it clear he respects Pacquiao but isn't intimidated. He plans to stick to his game plan and use his youth and reach advantage to keep the pressure on. Barrios isn't approaching this as just a payday. He sees it as the biggest opportunity of his career and a chance to add Pacquiao's name to his resume.
When you see the Manny Pacquiao fight, what can you learn from that fight?
You know, it showed that, you know, combination punchers, you know, that's how Pacquiao, you know, was landing, you know, his punches, combinations. And, you know, it just shows you that, you know, he is a great fighter, but you know, I'm going into this camp, coming into this fight confident, everything right with our game plan, and I'm going to try to execute it as best as I can.
The announcement of Pacquiao's return sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Many fans are still processing the news, as Pacquiao retired in 2021 and has remained inactive since. Mauricio Suleiman, president of the WBC, confirmed that all permissions were secured to allow Pacquiao to compete for the welterweight belt.
The WBC president Mauricio Suleiman has said Mario Barrios will face Manny Pacquiao this July. That's some crazy shit, bro. That's some crazy news. Manny Pacquiao is 46 years of age. He's making his return to the ring. And he said he wants to go out with a bang. He wants to finish his career as a champion. That's some crazy shit. Manny Pacquiao's professional record currently stands at 62 wins, 39 of those coming via knockout, 8 losses and 2 draws. Manny Pacquiao has one of the most impressive CVs in the sport of boxing. Just take a look at from 09, Ricky Hatton, all the way up until here. There's so many names: Timothy Bradley, Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Joshua Cloteley, Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Jesse Vargas. Like, there's so many names on this list. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a look at Mario Barrios' record. 29 wins, 18 of those coming via knockout, 2 losses and 1 draw on his resume. What do I make of this fight? I don't know, you know. I mean, listen, this is a young man's sport. I ask myself, Manny Pacquiao, why do you want to come back and fight a younger fighter? You know what I mean? Mario Barrios, who's the current champion, who's the WBC champion. Why? What have you got to prove? You've proven everything throughout your career. So I don't know what to say, but anyways, let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and watch a clip of the president of WBC, Mauricio Sulaiman, talk about this.
One of the most poetic aspects of this return is that Pacquiao is fighting for the same WBC belt that launched his global boxing journey. His first world title came at flyweight, and now he seeks to end his career as the WBC welterweight champion. This full circle moment is significant for Pacquiao, whose motivation seems rooted not only in legacy but in nostalgia. Speculation is rampant that the Barrios fight is merely a stepping stone. Rumors suggest that if Pacquiao defeats Barrios, he could be setting himself up for a mega fight against Gervonta Tank Davis. Fans and analysts alike are questioning whether Barrios was chosen because he's beatable, allowing Pacquiao to build hype for one final blockbuster.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the Barrios fight off of 3 years off and a loss to Ugas.
And that's Crimea River, man. That's what boxing is. But longer deserve a Canelo fight.
If Pacquiao does beat Barrios, a showdown with Gervonta Davis could become one of the most anticipated fights in recent history. Two explosive southpaws, both carrying massive fan bases, facing off would generate global attention.
Gervonta Tank Davis has a 6 to 7 fight deal with the PBC and Amazon for $200 million. That's like $30 million a fight. All right. He also has a fight date for November. El Rayo team has said they're not fighting this year, so he's not the guy. So the question is, who is the guy who is willing to fight Tank by November and could build the fight into a fight worth $30 million? Y'all must be out y'all minds if y'all think that Manny Pacquiao versus Gervonta Tank Davis isn't a huge fight. That'll probably be his biggest fight ever. Y'all know that's a big fight because the boxing fan today, they know Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. That's who they know.
Despite his age and time away from the ring, many believe Pacquiao still has what it takes to beat Barrios. His record, accomplishments, and overall legacy have led some to label him the greatest of all time. He's fought and defeated a who's who of boxing legends, capturing titles in 8 different weight classes. If he manages to win this bout, it could silence critics and remind the world why he's considered one of the all-time greats. However, not everyone is excited. Comparisons to Floyd Mayweather's exhibition fights are rampant. Critics say this fight has the same feeling as an aging legend stepping into the ring, not for legacy, but for money. Pacquiao's return has been met with skepticism from some corners of the boxing community, who argue that this fight feels more like a glorified exhibition than a legitimate title contest.
Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios? Okay, if this was for a massive bag, I get it. But you're fighting for a non-pay-per-view event, so you're going to be fighting for free against a guy like Manny Pacquiao. Why? There are plenty of other fights to be making. But yet we're getting Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios. Is Manny Pacquiao even ready to fight in the ring? Why is he? I get he still loves the sport, but listen, you are an all-time great, a legend of the sport, a Hall of Famer. Why return? Why not just go pursue other things? If anything, do those little cheap expedition fights that you did last year, or those that are similar to that of what Floyd Mayweather keeps doing. Why is Manny Pacquiao doing a real legitimate fight? I get for its world championship, but against Mario Barrios. Why is Mario Barrios agreeing to this? Unless there is some astronomically large amount of money being given out for this fight makes no sense for either party. And I'm sick of having this welterweight division held up by dumb stuff like this. We don't want this fight. It makes absolutely no sense. And all it does is hold up the welterweight division a little bit longer.
A growing number of fans are showing little to no excitement for this bout. The concern isn't just about the nature of the fight, but also Pacquiao's age. At nearly 46, his reflexes, stamina, and durability are expected to be far from peak. Many fans are saying they don't want to see another legend in a half-hearted fight.
This is a fight that is almost finalized from per 210 Boxing TV from Instagram. He says Shaka News, Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title is a done deal for the summer. The date either will be July 19th or 26th on Amazon Prime, and the fight probably won't be on pay-per-view. And location, Las Vegas or San Antonio. So Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. There's 210 Boxing is reporting that this fight is a done deal. I'm not gonna believe it 100% until I see PBC announce it and everything per se. But I mean, this is a fight that has been in talks from a lot of people, from that side saying that Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao been negotiating the fight and everything. And I'm gonna just be real, honestly, man. I don't care for this fight because I don't care to see Manny Pacquiao back fighting again in the ring. Like it serves no justice seeing Manny Pacquiao after we just seen him fight in the exhibition and was not looking good at all in this exhibition. Like he did not look good in the exhibition fight at all. So I really don't want to see Manny Pacquiao fight Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios, I mean, he gets a big payday and he gets to put a legend on his resume. And I think Mario Barrios would definitely win this fight because I just don't think Manny Pacquiao has any gas left in the tank to fight, at an elite level.
This is becoming a pattern in boxing as legends return after retirement for big paydays. Floyd Mayweather did it. Mike Tyson did it. Now Pacquiao joins that list. Fans are increasingly disillusioned with what they see as a trend of retired icons chasing money rather than respecting their legacies. Many are already calling this fight predictable and unnecessary, with younger, hungry fighters like Barrios seen as likely winners. The magic of Pacquiao is still there in fans' hearts, but the fear is that these comeback fights may only erase the good memories.
Manny Pacquiao he hasn't been a pro in a minute, and they're coming back to fight someone for a belt. Barrios technically should win, but this isn't fair. Like, we could have had Brian Norman Jr. versus. We could have Brian Norman Jr. versus Barrios, but we're getting Manny Pacquiao versus Barrios. I don't think anyone wants to see that. Manny Pacquiao is past his prime. He's not in his fighting years no more. And then can he make 147? And then you're letting him fight for the belt. That doesn't make any type of sense. And then if he beats Barrios, let's say hypothetically he beats him, is he gonna unify? Cause Boots, that's sitting in the lamb to the slaughter. Brian Norman, that's sitting on the lamb to slaughter. Like, this doesn't make no sense. These young fighters, they can really hurt. They can really hurt Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao couldn't even handle Ugas. Like, just think about how this is all playing out. It doesn't make sense. This fight shouldn't be made. Like, there's other fighters that Barrios can fight. Like, he could try to fight Boost because I think unification is Trump mandatories.
Barrios' coach remains confident heading into the bout. Speaking in interviews, he stated that this is a huge opportunity and that they're taking it seriously. Pacquiao may be a legend, but the Barrios camp is preparing as if they're fighting the prime version of Manny. The coach stressed that Barrios never backs down from a challenge and is ready for anything Pacquiao throws at him.
Mentioned a lot of people are asking what's going on. Are the rumors true? Is it possibly Spence? Is it Pacquiao? Who is Mario Barrios sharing the ring with next?
You know what? He's put himself in a great position through hard work. He's a tremendous story when he turned pro and what he's been able to accomplish being a two-time world champion. And I always told everybody, he fights all comers. You know, when we fought Gervonta Davis, all my hats off to Gervonta Davis. You know, but it was very difficult for us to make the weight. We were going to move up in weight. They presented us, you know, with this opportunity, and he said, you know what, I'll bite down for it one more time. And then from there, you know, obviously we had a tough loss, but it was a competitive fight. And his first fight at 147 pounds, he goes on and takes on Keith Thurman. No tune-ups, no getting used to the thing. Goes at that point is about as good as you can get in the division, and took on that. So he takes on all comers, all challenges. His first world title against Batirov, the Russian, is about as tough as you could have done at the time. And so I think he's earned the right now to be in the biggest, best possible fights. And now it's going to be up to Al Heyman and Louis DeCubas Jr. on what they see is best and fit for his career, whether that's, you know, Pacquiao, Spence, if that's you know, a unification with Boots Ennis.
Pacquiao's advisor Sean Gibbons said the decision to fight Mario Barrios was intentional and symbolic. Barrios currently holds the WBC title, the same sanctioning body that awarded Pacquiao his very first belt. According to Gibbons, winning the WBC belt again would create a powerful bookend to one of boxing's most legendary careers. It's about more than money or competition. It's about legacy, symbolism, and going out on top. Whether or not Pacquiao succeeds, the story is undeniably compelling.
We have Sean Gibbons here, Manny Pacquiao's right-hand man, advisor, head of MP Promotions. Sean, I know you spent a lot of time with Manny Pacquiao over recent weeks and months. There's a lot of conversations about Manny's comeback. What is the latest that you could offer and the update around the potential matchup with Mario Barrios?
Well, the latest is Manny's fighting an exhibition on 28th in Japan. So, you know, you don't want to really look past that. But if he's successful there, Mario Barrios. We've talked about Conor Benn, which I believe was a great fight. That would have been a tremendous fight. We could have done it in England. We could have done it in the U.S. We could have done it in Riyadh season. But the fact that he wasn't able to come off the suspension, that put the brakes on that. So that brought us to Mario Barrios. He's the WBC world champion. Manny's first belt ever, many years ago, was a WBC belt. So
that's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.